Hello, yo, yo, yo. Hello, people. What's going on? It's your boy, Tom John. We're back again, once again, to go over week 16 and predict week 17. It is getting close to the playoffs, and I am getting so excited for the playoff picture. But let's look at that real quick. So, Lions clinched the NFC North. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get that. We'll get to that real quick. We'll go over the playoff picture after we go over the review week 16. I can't talk today. So, the Saints lose to the LA Rams on the road 30-22. The Rams are a team that are getting hot at the right time. Everything is going well for them. Jeez, fuck. Can we not with the updates and shit? Sorry. Anyway, as I was saying before, the Rams are getting hot at the right time. They are winning game. They're winning the games they need to win in order to get in the playoffs. They are currently the sixth seed. They Stafford's looking good. The receivers are looking good. Both Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua, who would be the offensive rookie of the year if it weren't for C.J. Stroud balling out. Even though he's been out for the past couple of weeks, they're probably still going to give the award to him. But who knows? They maybe if he breaks Jamar Chase's record, I don't know. But like I said, I still think it's gonna be C.J. Stroud, but it's probably gonna be pretty close. It's really those two up for that award. And the defense isn't really like it's crazy about the Rams defense is like it's really just Aaron Donald and a bunch of other guys. He obviously he's getting all the attention on that line, and the other linemen are making plays. So really not much to talk about there. It pushes the Saints back to 7-8, and they probably kicks them out of the chance to win the division or help. I mean, they can still make the playoffs. It's just gonna be a lot harder for them to do so now. Steelers out of nowhere crushed the Bengals. I did not see this coming. Out of this score really came out of nowhere. I guess what happens when you have Mason Rudolph and you want to give the ball. This is what happens when George Pickens wants to take over a game. He had like 4 catches for 95 yards and like 2 tuds. So yeah, so this is a PSA for the Steelers organization. Invest on the offense. Let George Pickens take over. All you really need is a quarterback, either Kenny Pickett to come back or a better quarterback to take over the offense and fix that O line. And Bengals, while technically they're still in it, it's gonna be really hard for them to fucking make the I guess get in that seventh seed because they don't have a winning division, which blows my mind. They're fucking 0-5 in their own division this year, yet and they're 8-2 against the rest of the league. That's I don't know how that's even possible, but I guess it is. And it's crazy that the Bengals are still in the picture for the playoffs, but they're probably gonna when they lose against the Chiefs, they're probably gonna be kicked out. They're probably out of the playoffs. So no, move on. I did not get a chance to watch this game because I don't have fucking Peacock. Because fuck Peacock and what they're doing. Fucking we're gonna have exclusive games on Peacock. Fuck that bullshit. But the Bills beat the Chargers. Now the Bills, just like the Rams in the NFC, they're getting hot at the right time. They're winning. They're winning in multiple ways, and the Bills are going to be the most dangerous team in the AFC to face. Other than the Ravens, who are the after this performance are clearly the best team in the NFL. But the Bills are going to be the hottest team going into the playoffs. Falcons beat the absolute dog shit out of the Colts, 29-10, and somehow they still have a chance to win the NFC South. But over these next couple of weeks, I doubt that's going to happen. Packers barely beat the Panthers because of the Panthers' fuck up of Thielen not giving the ball to the ref right away, and but the Panthers put up a pretty good fight, so they're at least playing for the interim. They're playing for the jobs. They're playing for the interim coaches. Who knows who they're going to hire next? It's a shit show down there in Carolina. Browns beat the Texans 36-22. They're 10-5. Again, the Browns and the Bills, I believe, are the two most dangerous teams in the playoffs because they're hot at the right time. And Joe Flacco revitalizing this team. Like Deshaun Watson was doing pretty okay, and then unfortunately they bench Joe Flacco to rest him up to prevent him from getting hurt. But the backup, the Dorian Thompson or whatever, I always forget what his name is. I don't remember what his name is, but The backup for the Browns got hurt, and unfortunately, he's going to be gone. Um, Lions and Vikings. Lions beat the Vikings, and they have won the NFC North for the first time in 30 fucking years, which is mind blowing. They have been a terrible team for 30 plus years. Well, not terrible, not for 30, but a majority of those 30 years, they have been absolute dog shit. And honestly, really, out of those 30 years, I can only recall like 5 of them having a winning record, and it happened like the past decade. 2011, they made the playoffs, lost the Saints. I remember that. 2014, they lost to the Cowboys, but they should have won that game as a 6th seed in the playoffs. And 2016, they made the playoffs, but they lost to the Seahawks. And then last year, obviously going 9-8, and now this year, winning the division for the first time since 1993 when they were the NFC Central. So good on Detroit for winning. Me as an Eagles fan, I'm happy for them, but we'll get to the scenarios in a minute. Jets hold on to beat the Commanders. They were kicking their ass earlier the whole entire game. Sam Howell got benched for Brissett. Brissett led them to a comeback, and Jets scored in the last second field goal. Nothing really surprising there. Nothing really worth talking about there. Seahawks once again come back from behind to beat the Tennessee Titans, just like they did before against my team. Fucking Seahawks. Bunch of fucking assholes. I don't want to see Seattle in the playoffs because Pete Carroll has my team's number for some fucking reason. For whatever reason, Pete Carroll, as the coach of the Seahawks, is undefeated against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I fucking hate that. And I don't want to see him in the fucking playoffs because I'm not confident we're gonna win that game again. We should have won that game, but we should have won that fucking game, but we didn't win that fucking game. But that's enough of that. I don't give a fuck about Seattle right now. Tampa Bay beat the absolute dog shit out of Jacksonville. Tampa Bay's on getting hot at the right time. Jacksonville is going the wrong way at this time of year. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is getting hurt left and right. A lot of their playmakers are getting hurt left and right. And now we have 3 teams in the AFC South tied with the same record at 8-7. So it's really up in the air. The AFC South is all about chaos this year. So it really depends on these last 2 weeks on who's going to win that division. It's going to go down right to the wire. Bears somehow beat the Bears beat the Cardinals 27-16. Justin Fields played okay in this game. And from what I'm thinking, because the Bears have the most interesting situation in the NFL. They're going to have the number 1 overall pick, and then they're going to have whatever pick they have currently with their record at 6-9. Nice, by the way. They can still trade away their pick. They can trade away at the end of the year. They can still trade away Justin Fields and pick Caleb Williams, or they could do what has not happened since Keyshawn Johnson, and draft a receiver number 1 overall in Marvin Harrison Jr. and invest in the offensive line. So it really depends on what happens with the coaching staff. Does the GM fire Eberflus even if they were winning these last couple of games, or do they just let him go and let the GM hire his own guy? Because I know he's with I forget his name off the top of my head, but I know he's with the Chiefs, and he didn't hire Eberflus. So this is going to be a very, very, I said, the Bears have the most interesting situation in all of the NFL, and I'm really curious on how they're going to play this, what the Bears should do, or what they're going to do. Good news for us Eagles fans. Christmas has been very great for Eagles fans. Dolphins beating the Cowboys, last-second field goal. Shout out to the kicker Sanders. He helped me score 22 points on my way to my fantasy team's title game. I won that by 2 points. I won that matchup by 2 points, and now I'm in the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, Jalen Waddle I have Jalen Waddle on my team, and he is very questionable for this next game, and I need him healthy. And I don't know if he's going to be healthy. He's been very fragile all year for me. He's had some good games, but most of the time he's been very fragile. New England somehow beat the Broncos. I thought the Broncos were going to win and have a better shot in the playoffs, but I was clearly wrong. The Patriots defense decided to step up. The special teams stepped up, and now that we learned today is the breaking news of Sean Payton benching Russell Wilson. So that most likely means he's done in Denver. I think it's a stupid move on their part because I believe they're still alive for the playoffs. They're barely alive. They only have like a very small percentage of making the playoffs, but they still can make the playoffs. It's gonna take a lot of teams to lose out, but they can still make the playoffs. But playoffs. But yeah, the Broncos still have a very slim chance of making it. The Raiders with the biggest upset of the weekend, not even scoring an offensive touchdown. They scored 2 defensive touchdowns in 7 seconds with a weird ass backyard trick play wannabe. The running back trying to hand off to Mahomes. They fumble that exchange. One of the defensive tackles like decks Mahomes, then and the other defensive tackle picks it up. It goes in the end zone. And then on the next drive, Jack Jones gets a pick six and stares him the fuck down, which is just fucking epic. It's about goddamn time people start doing that shit to Mahomes because I'm just sick of his ass. Like, obviously, I'm still going to acknowledge him as the best quarterback in the league, but at the same time, it's just a pain in the ass. He's been on my shit list ever since that whole offsides thing with Kadarius Toney. The ref should have let that shit play out. Like, yeah, as an Eagles fan, you shouldn't be saying that shit to me. I don't give a fuck about your feelings on what the refs have to say. They honestly, they fuck. I mostly blame Gannon for the Super Bowl loss, but I'm still blaming the refs for allowing that hold and allowing them to call that fucking hold. But good on the refs for actually calling the offensive offsides. But and anyway, I know that's old drama, but still, don't give a fuck about the Chiefs anymore. And here's my game: the Eagles barely being the Eagles, having a comfortable lead and giving it up over a bunch of stupid fucking mistakes, because that's just what it is. Like, I'm glad we won, but we gotta cut down these stupid fucking mistakes. Dallas Goedert slipping, causing a pick six. Fucking Zacchaeus runs into Boston Scott. He fumbles the football, allowing the Giants, allowing for Saquon to just walk in a goddamn end zone. Like, come on, it's just a bunch of stupid fucking shit. And unfortunately, my boy Ed Reed Blankenship got beat deep. But you know what? I'm just glad we won the game. It feels good to win. And now we just need to win out. We just need to win out. I don't care how we win. We just got to win out. And then, honestly, just the final Christmas bow on top of this amazing Christmas for us Eagles fans is the Ravens absolutely dog walking the San Francisco 49ers. The Ravens did what the 49ers have done to basically every other opponent this year and just out fucking bully them. Make Brock Purdy throw 4 interceptions. Sam Darnold came in. He played pretty well in that same offense, even though he threw an interception at the end of the game as well. And then Lamar Jackson just dominating, looking like the absolute athlete that he is. And also helping me win my playoff game barely by 2 points. So thanks to Lamar Jackson, the Dolphins kicker, I'm in the Super Bowl for my fantasy league. So shout out to those two big guys. After the 49ers, after talking all their fucking bullshit, they got their fucking asses beat, and we love to fucking see that. We love to fucking see that. And now, what's even worse for them? I mean, the Brock Purdy injury probably isn't that serious. It's another stinger, according to reports. Trent Williams hurt his groin. I don't know how serious of an injury that is, but he was out for basically the whole second half of that game. And a lot of other offensive linemen they're just losing offensive linemen left and right. So this might be the worst time of the year for San Francisco to be piling up injuries on the offensive line. And now it's going to make them look even more vulnerable. So, and if that is the case, Brock Purdy's not going to look as great as he normally does, as he normally has looked for majority of the year. Now let's go to the playoff pictures. Obviously San Francisco still clinched. We clinched. And obviously, the Lions officially clinched the playoff spot by winning the NFC North, and the Dolphins officially clinched a playoff spot by winning their game against the Cowboys. The Bucs they have a great chance of clinching if they beat the Saints, which I think they will. Rams have to beat the Giants. And it's not going to be easy for Seattle against Pittsburgh. Even though they're at home, the Steelers are still a tough team, even though the Steelers are have been up and down all fucking year. Hopefully, and who's right behind them? The Vikings and Packers are right behind them. Vikings are barely above because the Vikings beat the Packers in the first meeting of the year. So I'm curious to see if the Packers win and the Seahawks lose. I wonder if Green Bay has the better conference record over Seattle, which I don't think they do. I'm not sure, but I don't think that they do. So Seattle still might be the seventh seed after if they lose. And I believe there is a scenario where the Eagles can get the number 1 seed. So I believe, honestly, obviously we have to win out. And I believe the Dallas Cowboys have to beat the Detroit Lions. And San Francisco needs to lose either against Washington or against LA. So, and I doubt that's going to happen because San Francisco is probably going to play for the number 1 seed. If they don't, it's going to be really interesting what happens. But I really doubt they're going to lose both of the next games. They're going to beat Washington without a doubt. But LA, I don't know. LA needs to make the playoffs. So I think they might have a tough time against LA. Either they're going to let them rest or they're actually going to play hard. But the Rams have been playing great football lately. As for the AFC, the more interesting conference, Jags still have first place because of their excuse me. Excuse me, sorry, Jesus Christ. Jags still have the best division record in their division, even though they're all tied. Yeah, Texans have not had CJ Shaw these past couple of weeks. I believe the Texans have the easiest. I don't know if they actually. I think the Jags have the easiest schedule left because they have the Panthers and then they have the Titans, I believe. Colts have Vegas. And the Raiders are getting pretty hot. If the Raiders win out, there's a good chance the Raiders can make the playoffs. But they would need to win out and the Chiefs to lose out. And I believe that's the only way that the Raiders can win the AFC West. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I highly doubt they're going to lose. The Chiefs lost to the Bengals. Even though they've been losing at home a lot these past month, I still find it hard to believe the Chiefs are going to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. Even though they've been up and down all fucking year. They knocked themselves out of playoffs by losing to Steelers. The Bills are pretty much guaranteed a playoff spot if they beat New England. And if and these two juggernauts play each other, if the Dolphins lose to the Ravens, the AFC East is up for grabs in Week 18. And I don't know, did the Ravens clinch the AFC North? I don't think they have. They clinched obviously they clinched a playoff spot, but I don't know if they have the actual division. Is there? I don't know if there is, but we'll go over that. I was hoping they would have a thing with playoff scenarios, but I guess they don't as of right now. Now let's go over the games for Week 17. The Browns and Jets. I think the Browns are going to win easily, pretty handily, because the Jets have either they have like one of the worst offenses in the league, even with Zach Wilson playing much better. But it is what it is. Lions and Cowboys is going to be a really great game this Saturday. Like I said, I'm not rooting for the Cowboys to win. Let's get this. I want to make this myself loud and clear. I am not rooting for the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Detroit Lions. All I'm saying is I believe it's already been confirmed. But if the Cowboys do beat the Detroit Lions, we have a much better shot at the number 1 seed. I highly doubt we're going to get the number 1 seed. So if Detroit wins, but I know if Detroit beats the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday, and if we beat the Arizona Cardinals, which key phrases we should, I believe that's when we win the NFC East. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that's what needs to happen in order to clinch the division. But if we want the number 1 seed, we're going to need the Cowboys to beat the Lions. Or better get the number 2 seed, because I believe if Detroit wins out, they get the number 2 seed because they have better strength of schedule wins over us. I believe that's how that works. I'm not 100% sure on that. I will have to do some more research on that. Dolphins at Ravens. This is going to be another great game, and somehow it's only at the 1 o'clock spot. Um, this is tough for me because I don't know. As chaotic as I want to be, I think the Ravens are the best team in football right now. After dog walking the San Francisco 49ers, it's really hard to doubt the Baltimore Ravens because they're probably just going to dog walk the rest of the way to the number 1 seed. If they beat, I believe if they beat the Dolphins, they win the AFC North. I don't know if like I said, I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. If the Ravens win this game, they win the AFC North because I think if the only way the Browns to win is if the Browns win out and the Ravens lose out, but I don't see the Ravens losing to Miami because both are. But this could be a great game. Both defenses have been playing great. Tua has not looked like the MVP form of earlier in the year. The only concern I really have for the Dolphins is obviously my guy Jalen Waddle being hurt and probably not playing. I don't know if that's the case, but the Dolphins are going to need all their offensive weapons to be healthy. And the concern for the Ravens I have is for Kyle Hamilton. I don't know what his injury status is. He hurt his knee again on Monday. Patriots are at Bills. I think the Bills are going to beat the Patriots. And if the Ravens do beat the Dolphins, like I said, AFC East is on the line. Week 18. Falcons are at Bears, so it's a don't. The Falcons are a much better football team, but the Bears have been playing good football as of late. And the only reason I would give Chicago a slight edge is because they're at home, and Atlanta is a dome team, and they're not going to like the cold weather. So that's the only slight edge I would give to Chicago. But still, I think if the Atlanta beats Chicago, they still have a chance to win the division. I'm not sure though, because I'm not sure of all the playoff clinching scenarios as of right now. But I think for this I'm going to go Atlanta over Chicago. Titans are at the Texans, and I don't know if CJ Stroud's going to come back. I believe he is. Because he's already been out for the past 2 weeks. Hopefully he's not. Hopefully he passes concussion protocol, and hopefully he plays. Because I want more chaos in the AFC South. So if CJ Stroud plays, I would think that the Texans will beat the Titans. I mean, they beat him without him before. So with or without CJ Stroud, I think the Texans win again. Raiders at Colts. I don't know. That's a tough one. The Raiders have been playing good football lately. They're kind of on a hot streak. A little bit of a hot streak. They scored 63 against the Chargers. Bullied the fucking Chiefs. And last time they had an interim coach, they basically won out and they made the playoffs. But the Raiders would need the Bengals' help and they would need the Chargers' help. And I don't think the Chargers are going to be good enough to beat the Chiefs in Week 18. So even if they win out, they might have the slightest possibility of making the playoffs. That's 7th seed because that's the only real seed that's available. Because I think it's going to be Cleveland at the 5 seed or Miami / Buffalo at that 6 or 5 seed. I think Cleveland and whoever is second in the AFC East is obviously going to get that. Is going to be the wild card spot plus Cleveland, and 7 seeds up for grabs. So I don't know who's going to win. But I'm going to go with the Raiders. My gut tells me the Raiders because they're just on fire right now. I just think their defense is going to kick ass, and Aiden O'Connell will be good enough to put a couple drives together. Panthers at Jaguars. I know the Jags have struggled the past month. They've struggled against everybody. Barely losing to getting their ass kicked by Tampa. There's no way they should be able to lose. There's no way they should lose to Carolina of all teams. So I'm going to pick the Jags to win against the Panthers. I'm just hoping I'm right. Rams are at Giants. I'm going to pick the Rams to win because Giants are ass. Cardinals at Eagles, the fucking Jonathan Gannon revenge game. I hope we fucking crush Arizona. If there's one game I want the Eagles to fucking crush, it's this game. And like I said before, like in my rant before, I blame Jonathan Gannon for us losing the Super Bowl. Mostly. Saints at Buccaneers. This is going to be a good game. As disappointing as I am in the New Orleans Saints, and they have not played well these past few weeks, Tampa Bay has been on fire, and Tampa Bay's been on fire. So I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, I'm disappointed in the Saints because I thought they would actually win the division, but based on the way they played these past few weeks, it's not gonna happen. The Commanders can do the funniest thing this week and upset the San Francisco 49ers, but even with all of San Francisco's injuries on the offensive line, I don't think San Francisco is going to lose. Now, if the Commanders had Montez Sweat and Chase Young on their team, I would say yes. I would pick the Commanders to upset just for the lulls, but I'm not going to do that. As much as I don't like San Francisco, I'm logical enough to fucking pick them over a terrible Commanders team. An interesting game with interesting scenarios: Steelers and Seahawks. Seattle is going to have the slight advantage at home, but even though they lost 4 in a row and they won 2 in a row, Steelers kicked the Bengals' ass. I want the Steelers. I'm going to root for the Steelers to win, but I think Seattle's going to win home just because they're at home. And even though the Steelers have a better defense than the Seahawks offense, but I don't really trust the Steelers offense that much. Chargers at Broncos, and like I said, apparently the Broncos have decided to bench Russell Wilson, which is very stupid of them because they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Even though it's a very slim to none odds, it's always good to try to at least win out. Plus, if they hit 9-8, I think I'd be right on Denver. Yeah, there's no way Denver should, because the Chargers sucked, and there's no way the Chargers should be able to beat the Broncos. I'm going with Denver in this game, even with the backup playing. Oh look, no Monday night game this week. It's actually oh, it's New Year's Day, so no one wants to play on New Year's Day, I guess. Bengals at Chiefs. I know the Chiefs have struggled at home all this month. I just find it very hard to believe with the Bengals backups. But I know Jake Browning has played pretty well in the role. He's basically done everything he could do as the backup quarterback. As funny as it would be for the Bengals to beat the Chiefs, I just find that there's just no way. I think the Chiefs finally get their heads out of their asses and they fucking win a home game. And I'm pretty sure if they win, they clinches in the AFC West. I'm not 100% sure on that. And last, and certainly not least, the Sunday night game, Packers at Vikings. Vikings have, even with Nick Mullins in there, they've played pretty well. Justin Jefferson back. They've played well with Justin Jefferson in the game. I don't know. The Packers have played pretty well as well. So this is another toss-up game. This is another 50-50. But, and apparently, I just read something. Apparently, the Packers are suspending their best cornerback, Jair Alexander, for this game, based off-field conduct or whatever shit. That's gonna screw them over, and I'm gonna go. And because of that, I'm going with Justin Jefferson having a career day against the Green Bay Packers. And the Vikings are going to win this game and have a slight, and hopefully take over that 7th seed over Seattle. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see if we can actually find scenarios. I don't know if there are. They don't say it here, but if the Packers win, they have a better chance to make the playoffs. Da-da-da-da. All these teams are eliminated. Da-da-da-da. Somehow the Bears still have a shot to win. Get in the playoffs, but that's not going to happen. Like I said, the Broncos. Oh, all right. According to this, they have a 12% chance if they win this game. So if they win, they shouldn't have benched them. But you know what? It is what it is. If the Bengals win, it helps them out because I think they have a pretty great conference record. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we'll see. Because the AFC is much more interesting than the NFC. But yeah, so that's it for this week. I'm really hoping that let's actually look up scenarios. Let's see if we can find scenarios. Or is this just, no, this is just tiebreakers. That's just tie-breaking procedure. I don't want that. Let's see if we can find NFL playoff scenarios. Okay, so this is the current playoff picture right now. They've clinched spots. All right, here we go. Here's AFC scenarios right here. Shout out to CBS. Baltimore can clinch the AFC North title with the win against the Dolphins or the Cleveland loses on Thursday, which Baltimore can clinch AFC's #1 seed first round bye and home field with the. Okay, so if they win this game, they win the division and the #1 seed. Okay, I figured as much. Miami can clinch the AFC East with a win. The Kansas City Chiefs can clinch in playoff berth and the AFC West with a win. Or if Vegas, both the Raiders and Broncos lose, Jacksonville can clinch the AFC South with them winning, and they need the Colts and the Texans to lose, which makes sense. Cleveland wins if they win. Pittsburgh loses. Buffalo loses. Jacksonville loses, or Houston and Colts lose. So Cleveland's just basically winning in. Buffalo, it looks like they need a lot of help. So if they win, they need Steelers and Bengals to lose. They need Steelers, Bengals, Steelers, Jags, Steelers, Colts, Texans. I think they need a lot of scenarios to lose. What about the NFC? Oh, here we go. They only have the AFC right now, but so let's go NFC. So San Francisco can clinch the NFC's #1 seed first round bye and home field with them winning, which is a good scenario. Plus the Eagles losing and the Lions losing, which I doubt that's going to happen. We cannot lose to Arizona. Fuck. We win the NFC East if we win and if Dallas loses. Tampa Bay. Oh, so Tampa Bay has to win, just have to win, or Atlanta loses. What if they lose and Atlanta loses? Do they still clinch? I doubt it, because I think the Saints would be tied with them. Yeah, it'd be a tiebreaker between the Saints and the Bucks, I believe. The Rams clinch a spot if they win, or win and Seattle loses, or if they win if Green Bay and Minnesota tied. And Seattle can clinch if Seattle wins, plus Green Bay and Minnesota tie, which that's gonna be wild. So let's see. Let's go over the tiebreakers. Okay, based on conference record, yeah, we know that. Philadelphia's at Detroit based on strength of victory, but I believe if the Lions beat the Cowboys, they'd have a better strength of victory schedule. Rams are has Seattle based on head-to-head sweep. Yep. Minnesota's have Green Bay in the NFC North based on head-to-head. Minnesota's also ahead of Atlanta based on head-to-head. Atlanta is ahead of New Orleans on the NFC South based on head-to-head, and Atlanta's ahead of Green Bay based on head-to-head. Green Bay's ahead of New Orleans based on head-to-head. Okay, so not really as much interesting scenario for So I'm guessing the Vikings would have to win. All right, we can figure this out more at next week. Next week will be a lot more clear. So we'll do this again next week. So catch y'all next week.